Okay, perfect. How was it?
Sir, it was easy, sir. And sir, I'm guessing that I'm sure that I got 17 out of 20.
Okay.
Because one question I couldn't do was that what's the abbreviation of HTML and I couldn't remember what was it.
Ayo. Okay.
And I was like
Ah,
I knew what was happened. It was like
yes.
I was going to deduct 3 marks and I was sure about the other questions.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay. So, yeah, who do we have? Angel. Hi. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Yes. Can you turn the camera on? Just to put a name to the face. Hi. Hello. Okay. So, it's your first class, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, perfect. I think I shared the videos on the group, so you can actually go through the previous videos. So we already covered up the unit one, so we are jumping into unit two now. So where we talk about responsible practice. Okay. So perfect so far. Kevin, do you have any questions about the previous unit?
So
It
it
was
was so good, sir, because sir
just
teached it very
okay, okay. I hope so. It's all about straightforward stuff. So I hope it's yeah, it's clear. So okay, so responsible practice. Here we talk about few specific points, but we talk about the broader view of it. We are not going to talk. We are not going to go in depth. But let's see how we can jump in and broad keyword broad නෙමෙයි අපි පොඩ්ඩක් will dive in and see and see what is complicated. Okay, super. So now here you can see a big message saying caution, what you are doing is illegal. Okay, so that is what we are going to talk about. What is this legal and illegal practice? Okay, perfect. Okay, so when we jump in, so we talked about copyrights, a little bit of copyrights last week during our last class. So we talked about why we have copyrights and what is copywriting, right? So now in during the last class we talked about like music and videos and all these loyalty free or royalty free images, right? So this is in this topic we'll be actually diving a little bit deep into the that particular concept and we'll learn what it is exactly. Okay, so related topics, the primary set of related topics, we went through the understanding the internet and understanding the World Wide Web, and also we talk about using the technology safely and respectfully. Okay, and yeah, we have some keywords, but let's jump in and see what it is. Okay, now this is a confusing topic. Okay, so when it comes to this copyright confusion, okay, so there are three different factors when it comes to copyright. Okay, so I'll explain this in a different way. So now let's say Angel creates something like a let's say you create a song. Okay, so wrote she writes a song and she sings it, and then what she can do is, since she's the owner, she can say that it's her copyright. So sorry, she has the ownership of that song, right? So that means if Kemit and me, if we are trying to do a cover, yes, we can do a cover, but if we try to do the exact song, then we can get sued because Angel can basically sue us and say that we have illegally taken it, right? So in this case, we have, so she has three different ways of copywriting it. So yes, she can copyright it so that then no one can basically use it, right? Without her permission. Otherwise, there is an option called copyright free. Okay, So that means this thing, copyright free, means the content is not protected by copyright. Okay, we'll go through this, then after that you guys can write this down. Nah? Then, so that means now, let's say if she releases the song as copyright free, we all can use it. We can do whatever we want. And even if now Kemit might know that if you put a video on YouTube with a copyrighted song, your video gets blocked. Your video will basically say that there's this copyrighted material in it and you won't get it approved, right? So similar to that, if your song is copyright free, then it's get approved. So that's one thing. So that is basically no copywriting. Then we have this thing called royalty free, right? So that means you can use it. I mean, that means you don't need to pay to use the content. But you do need a license to use it. License කියන්නේ මෙහෙම එකක්. දැන් හිතමු මේ let's say you Kemit took a picture of some place at some point, okay? Let's say you went to Sigiri and you took a nice picture, a unique picture of Sigiri, right? Then what you can say is you can upload it into a royalty free platform, and from the platform you can lock it out. So what happens is, from this particular platform itself, that thing, that license will be locked, and if you take it from that platform with the name, with crediting you, then that is okay. Similar to the website which I showed you, which I talked about last time, Unsplash. Can you remember I told you about Unsplash? So Unsplash does the same thing. Yeah, what they do is they say, okay, take the content. It's perfectly free. But you have to tell the world that you took the content from this particular website and you have to give the credit to the user. Okay? That's...
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yeah, shoot.
Sir, then what about sir, Spotify, sir? They use like almost every music for free. And sir, when I just search the music next, in Spotify they totally gives free.
Correct.
When I searched in iTunes, it is like it's giving $1.3 you have to pay. So sir, what's the difference between of that?
Okay, so it's like this. So now Spotify doesn't have the actual, let's say, doesn't have the ownership of the songs. Okay, what they do is they kind of like rent the song from the artist. So you go there and you play, and every time you play the song, the artist get paid. Artists get paid a small amount.
So sir, if I just release that song for Spotify,
yeah,
will they like pay me?
Yes, obviously, yes. Every
Advance, sir?
Yes, yeah, you get paid. So that's why all our artists are in Spotify. Even this like everybody has a Spotify account, specific Spotify account. Good example, what's her name? Yohani. So Yohani has like couple of million plays. So they have like so that means she has a massive follower base on Spotify. So whatever she does, she get like whomever who will listen to one of her songs, she get paid instantly. Not a big amount, but still think, okay, just imagine if you get paid 1 cent per listen, then you have like couple of million listeners, right? So you can... Exactly. So you can easily earn a massive lot of money out of it. Okay?
So there was a peculiar thing. One of the man made a song called "This Is a 3-second Song."
Okay.
And that was sort of strange, and people literally want to search that.
Okay.
So sir, that's a trick that he made. So it is 55
people.
million for
Yes.
that thing.
Just for that
So
thing, yes.
just get like billions and billions
Yes.
for just for a 6 second song.
Yeah. So that was some. I recently saw this video. In YouTube, there's a video called "How to Open a Door." Okay. So this guy goes to a door and literally turns the knob and opens the door. That's it. That's the video, and it has couple of million views. I know it's like a very simple. I mean, like a dumb idea. Like, who doesn't know how to open a door? But still, then again, people search how to open a door.
So getting double meanings to it's genius because it's one of his trick to make it like
Exactly.
it feels strange
Yes.
for others and others would like wow this
So
guy
right, yeah, exactly. Okay, so that is about the. So you got the idea about royalty free, and then we have the next one is community Creative Commons. So Creative Commons, this one is basically a type of a license where you have a non-profit organization backing you up. Okay, so Creative Commons is a non-profit organization which basically allows you to um, add type of a license which will add your name to it. Okay, and then it will basically give a specific definition who can use the content and who can work on that, and basically how to credit the creator of the work. So now let's say most of these songs, like if you search for royalty free songs on YouTube, you will find most of the songs are under the CC license, Creative Commons license. So that means they give a specific criteria on how to credit the user. Okay, so
but can we make creative license for my age?
yes, it's just about a specific thing which you have created. So it can be something like art, it can be a graphic, it can be a video, it can be a sound, even a sound clip. All
Yeah,
so all those things can fall under the same category. Okay.
okay.
So shall we write or highlight these 3 points? So
Okay sir.
number one is copyright free. So we'll put the title as copyright types.
Sir told like highlight it right?
Yeah, either highlight or write it down. Either one is okay. Whatever is
So
here.
I've highlighted it.
Ah,
Well,
nice.
in this
Perfect. Perfect.
that's it.
Give me 1 second.
So in school, sir, we are doing in binary protocol. Sir,
That means unit 4, right?
yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So quite far. You have gone quite far. But we can catch up. Catch up. No problem. Okay. So yeah, that's the main point. So yeah, we have a real world example. So in this case, you can see there are many websites that offer royalty free images, videos, and music that are free of charge for anyone who uses, sorry, for anyone to use in their work. But the thing is, you need to basically give the credit. So example is, if I show something like this, so if I go to unsplash.com, here you can see, so all these images are there. These are all free images, and let's say if I click on one of these images, you can see the image gets loaded up, and here you can see the license. See, it says free to use under the Unsplash license. So if you click on Unsplash license, you can then see when the license sticker. So this is the license we agree when we want to download it. Okay, so it says license. Unsplash visuals are made to be used freely. Our license reflects that all images can be downloaded and used for free. Commercial and non-commercial purposes, no permission is required. Okay, but it says what is not permitted is images cannot be sold without significant modifications. That means you can't just take the image out of this and you can't just sell it. If you want to sell it, you have to do some modifications.
Yes.
And yeah, that's the thing. So usually what they do is yeah, if you go for download, you basically say that okay, thank you for downloading, but they say to give some credit. See, so if I say, they say something like this: say thanks, say thanks, give a shout out to Xandertan on social, or copy the text before, sorry, text below to attribute. See.
Also, can't we like give it in the if I use it for YouTube and tell this is by this guy and this is by this thing? Is it? It's also okay, right?
It's 100% okay, but if you are using on YouTube, you don't technically have to credit because Unsplash license says it's free to use. But usually what happens is it's better to credit, it's better to
Yeah.
give the credit so that people will respect you for the work you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's the easiest thing. Okay, so now this is there is a point behind this one. Okay, so when is it out of copyright? So this is actually a controversial point which actually goes on to different types of sorry, this changes based on different countries. Okay, now example is if you take UK, Europe and United States, if something is copyrighted, it is only valid up to 70 years. So after 70 years, it's not. So example is, now let's say if you have, we can take a old song and we can remix it and do something and we can create a new one. And
Excuse me, sir.
yes, shoot.
Sir, what about those some sort of those movies, sir? That was in those movie theaters and all. After like 3 months or something, those movies are released in YouTube. So, sir, how could they like literally say like how could they take it? It's sort of like a copyright, right?
Yes, it is. It is copyright content. So you're not supposed to do that. But what happens is people actually pirate the content, and they upload it. So the thing is, when YouTube detects it, automatically that's going to get deleted.
His
That's it.
account is going to be deleted.
Yes, account, and that video is going to be blocked as well. But the thing is, it's like this. So I think you might have noticed now there are a lot of Sinhala, Sri Lankan Sinhala movies on YouTube. So the reason is now Sinhala videos and YouTube movies, nobody has submitted that into Google, and that's not an international. There's no international copyright law in that. No. So
Yeah.
in Sri Lankan for the Sri Lankan movie directors, that is really unfair because you can find all the latest movies on YouTube.
That's
Well, that's the thing. But apart from that, foreign movies, it's completely legal.
it's not good.
It's not, yeah, it's not good in the sense. Also, on one way, another in another way, they have spent billions and billions on making those videos for me. ඇති ඕක free දැම්මාම එහෙන අපරාධයේදී. They are like, everybody is losing money end of the day.
So one of my friends, he's one of his friends, Aya, has Prime Video account.
Okay.
And so we need to buy the videos from Prime Video now.
Yeah.
Like the Mr. Beast that 5 million or something one.
Yeah.
In the YouTube answer, it is like it's not the extended version, but it is like shortened from side to side. But in Prime Video, it's the original.
Original
As
video,
my friend
yes.
said, and one of his here downloaded Squid Games season 1 and 2 and
Okay.
Mr. Beast games and Mr. Beast Squid Games
Okay.
and all. And he told that he gave it in a pen drive, and he told like that all things cost like 1 lakh. And I told like,
Yeah, that's right.
won't you need to pay or something?
Yeah.
He told no, he's my friend and those. And I told he told that pen drive was from his ayah. And
Okay.
normally I never take others pen drives because
Yeah.
they could put
Yes,
a
yes, obviously yes. Yeah, they could contain viruses and all, but technically it's now in Sri Lanka it's actually really hard to track these things. So that's the main problem. Otherwise, if you try to do this in another country like United States or something, they can literally track you down to your home address.
Sir, Sri Lanka doesn't have a specific database. That's the problem. If they have a database with every updated ones,
Yeah.
they could just go. They could just see the that short form of the email.
Yes.
Go search in the database, cookies, everything, and
Yeah,
in
it's
a
like
minute
this.
they do that.
So when you are accessing the internet, I'll explain this in a very simple way. So let's say, just think about it like this. So let's say when you connect to a internet, when you connect to a network, you use the IP address to recognize you, right? Internet protocol address. So basically, when you connect, we allocate an IP address. Now, if it is, so the common IP address format we use is IPv4, IP version 4, IP version 6 is also here now. IPv4 is basically 3 255, 250, sorry, 4 255, 255, 255, 255 characters. Okay, so it's all together 4 blocks of 3 characters. So this particular IP, what happens is, now in Sri Lanka, I showed you how the internet comes into Sri Lanka. So now for Sri Lanka, since we don't have multiple access points, we all share one internet location. Okay, so example is, okay, now let's try this out. So if I search,
So we search only for Ambantota, Colombo, and those places, right?
yeah, no, just go to this website and see what is my IP address.
So sir, how could they tell what is your IP address?
Yeah, so the IP address is taken from the internet service provider. Alright. So when you go to this website, what do you get? Is it the same IP address?
It's sort of like weird. IPv6 and IPv4.
Yeah, IPv4. Do you get the same address as mine? 112.134.
So I didn't check it. I didn't know that thing until now.
Okay, just check this number.
Okay, sir.
Just check this number whether it's correct.
Our mother literally knows those things, but she's like, if you learn it, you will like go out of that.
Why? Okay.
Don't know.
So just search as what is my IP address on Google. Okay, let me send you this.
So I found it.
Okay, is it the same site?
No, it's not the same side. It straight away show. It straight away showed.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's not that number.
Okay.
It's not that.
It should be different, right?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, yeah. So how it works is, these IP addresses, there are a certain set of IP addresses, but there is a problem. Now at this particular moment, this particular IP address is allocated to my machine. Okay, but when I disconnect and connect again, this IP address changes. Okay, so in other countries, in let's say United States or like bigger first world countries, they allocate unique IP addresses to your home. Here, this IP address is allocated to Sri Lanka. See, if I zoom in, You can see I'm literally, see, I can't zoom in, no?
So
So
in United States, like almost everybody has a digital app sort of thing. So like it's easy for them, right? So to have like those things.
Ari, so it goes both ways. It's easy, but now let's say, now just think if your IP address is directly allocated to your home, Hari, then let's say you go to one of these sites and you download something, okay, or you watch something pirated, like a pirated movie or so, they can easily
Yeah,
catch you.
so sir, aren't we getting something like bad things like aren't we getting anything or
No.
the
Now, since when we browse it from Sri Lanka, technically these IPs are shared. So we call it shared IPs. So for Sri Lanka, we have a set of IPs which is being shared throughout the internet. Okay. So what happens is they can't track you. They can't literally track you because this IP address automatically rotates.
Oh yeah.
They can't track you. But in US, this IP address doesn't change. It's just fixed, done deal. That's it. So that means no one can. Sorry, everybody is tracked. So if you try to go to a video site and download something, you're going to get tracked, and immediately in like couple of minutes, FBI or the local police will literally knock on your door and take
Oh
you out.
yeah, sir. Sir, I saw that Luke Davidson's video.
Yeah.
He told, I'm gonna watch some videos.
Okay.
He didn't know what videos.
Okay.
I'm gonna just download it. He showed from the titles.
Okay.
And he told after like, now I'm not get out. FBI open the door and
Yes.
turned like that.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So technically, they can track you. So whatever you do, you can track. So that's why these sites, they like, for us still we can do that. I'm I'm not promoting anything. It is illegal and don't do it. But then again, even there are people who does or download this type of illegal content. But the problem is nobody can track. But if you try to do this in states, then you're done. කෙලින්ම දෙකක් දුන්න දාගත්ත ගියා.
Sir, can't we make any program that is generally used by people and it is given an authenticator, and from that authenticator, sir, can we like prove this person is doing this by just like not checking almost,
Yeah.
but almost we can like do what is most like as an average we put category,
Yeah.
like this person's this type, this person's this type, by a record, by a program. So can't we do like sort of like that things? So from that things, and like we could like use to ban away those all private or something that things.
That
Pirated.
can be done, but still the issue is the tracking.
Yeah, we need access.
You need access, or you need to be able to track the user. So without having a unique IP address, a unique address, we can't track. හරි මෙහෙම හිතන්න. Okay.
Sir, from my father's watch, sir, I can track him.
Yes, okay, yeah, that is because your father's watch is basically connected to his device with the specific address. Okay, maybe then, okay, so just think that, okay, so at your school, let's say your principal or somebody is walking along the section, okay? If somebody puts their head out and, let's say, just හූ තිබ්බ කියන්නකො. එහෙම කිව්වොත්, if like since it's all open, හරි, if it is an open section in the building, can he find out who made the sound? You can't, right? But just think, if all the doors are closed with the numbers and everything is closed, and if somebody opens the door and make a noise and try to go in, then obviously he's going to get caught. That's the same thing with the IP addresses. Now in Sri Lanka, we are like similarly, we are in this big hall, with big open hall, where we can scream and shout anything, and nobody's going to hear us.
So, sir, I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, in Sri Lanka, sir, do we have any database of... Now, Google does have that, sir. Sir, in Google, if we have access, sir, we
Yeah.
can take from Google Sri Lanka's, Gmail databases.
Yeah.
From those old Gmails, Sri Lanka would make IP addresses. That is
Yes.
stable IP address that never change. But by the that's automatic.
Yeah.
By the new Google account,
Yes.
they would change.
They can change.
They make like sort of that thing.
Yeah.
They could do that.
Yes, yeah. Google can easily do it. Because Google, when you log into a Google account, your device location is literally saved. So your location detail is there.
Google, please see.
Huh?
I mean, Google, please see this video. And
No, but then again, Google can't share that information because technically that is personal information. When you create an account, your location, whatever you do, whatever you upload, it belongs to you. So it's basically the privacy part. So it's private content for you. Okay, perfect. So jumping back to this one, then we have another specific point. Okay, so here we call this as open source software. Okay, so when it comes to software, we do have two different types of softwares. Okay, so one is open source and the other one is closed source. Okay, so when what is literally as the name implies, open source means the software is designed to be free to use, edit and distribute. Okay, so can you highlight this part? Open source software is designed to be free to use, edit and distribute. And anyone who is watching this video, if you don't have the textbook, please do write this down. Okay. So what is open source software? It's open source software is designed to be free to use, edit and distribute. Perfect. Okay. So this is very much popular with all the people who don't want to purchase software. So it's like this. Now open source softwares, there are two sides to this coin. Okay. Now just think if you take something like Microsoft Office. So Microsoft Office, you have to pay for that, right? That's a paid subscription, and Microsoft has thousands and thousands of engineers who continuously work on that particular platform, and they add the improvements, they add security patches, plugins, so on and so forth, right? So the system is up to date, but the system is closed, so it's closed source. So you don't know how it works behind the scenes, right? Because the system is paid. But in this case, have you heard about Open Office?
Oh yes, Open Office, Linux, and those
Yes.
things are open source software.
Open source, exactly. So there's this tool called Open Office, and there's another tool called Libre, Libre, I think, Libre Office, LibreOffice. So both offers you an open source approach for these office tools. So they all have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all the tools, and they can all open almost all the documents, but it's open source. So the fun thing is,
So sir,
yeah,
sir, sorry sir.
no, go on.
Sir,
Yes.
I have a question, sir.
Sure.
So sir, if Linux, they have made that operating system.
Yeah.
So sir, how could they earn sort of money, sir? Because they are open source software.
Yes.
And from which areas could they earn money? Now, if we take Microsoft,
Yeah.
the package,
They are.
we should
Exactly.
have to pay.
Yes.
But in Linux, what they do.
Yeah, so Linux actually goes as foundations. Okay, so they don't go as a company. They go as if you take Ubuntu is a foundation. Or if you take Fedora is a foundation. So most of the time what they do is they do have a paid version, okay, but that is for enterprise level customers. Example is if you take Fedora, so there's a Linux type called Fedora, which is being run by the company called Red Hat, REDHAT, Red Hat. Okay, so Red Hat Linux is the world's most secured Linux operating system, which is being used by all sorts of companies like IBM and all the big shot multinational
Area
companies.
51.
Yeah. So all these big shot companies uses this operating system, Red Hat. Plus, what they do is, since they have the paid version which is known as Red Hat, they have another version which is free, which is known as Fedora. So what they do is they have the community edition and they have the paid version. And the fun part is the the two sides of the coin I said. Now the community version, the free version, now it's free now. Now let's say if you find a bug, you can literally fix it. හරි. දැන් Microsoft එකේ if they found a bug, they have to get people to fix it now. Here, the community fixes it. හරි.
So sir, that's Linux is better than Microsoft. If we take about that.
I've been using Ubuntu and Linux from 2003.
Sir, is this true, sir, that Linux,
Yes.
they showed like, in a video, sir, is this true, sir? In video, they showed Microsoft company with the Microsoft badge and that company.
Yeah.
And Linux, they showed there was only 2-3 computers with only 2 people.
Yes,
Is it
so
true?
in the sense that is the what you have seen is actually the Linux invented, the person who built the initial Linux version. So he actually had a small office and that was it. But if you take like huge Linux companies like Red Hat or Ubuntu and all, they do have huge, those are like massive organizations. I think they have like multiple offices and so on and so forth. So the thing is, you get the point, right? So now, let's say if both of us build a software, and if somebody finds a bug, either you or me have to fix it. But if we build the software and make it open source, then if somebody finds a bug, we can say, "Ani onnoka hadala dan." We can ask him to fix the bug, and then like that, the community jumps in and they build a platform. So ultimately, you can take a version of that and you can sell if you want, but the community will keep on supporting the system. So that's
Sir,
why.
can't we make,
Yeah, sorry, go on.
what is it?
No, go on, go on. Yeah, what's.
Can't we make any, I mean, operating system, sir, just with a single laptop?
Making an operating system is not technically an easy task. So
Yeah.
technically, operating systems have couple of let's say couple of layers are there in an operating system. Okay, so technically, so to explain this in a very simple manner, so the idea behind the operating system is to connect the software layer with the hardware layer. So that
Yes.
connection has to be done. So in order to make that connection, you need to have couple of components.
Computer.
No, components, sorry, not computers, components. Example is there has to be a layer where that particular layer will communicate with the hardware. And that's the hardest part. So the hardware communication layer, it goes on very low level languages, like basically assembly level languages. And then what happens is that transforms into the program code, and we have the operating system where when you move the cursor like this, the operating system automatically detects the hardware and converts it into movement. So these
Sir, I was
three
just-
components. Yeah.
Sir, I was just thinking into those because my friend who is in UK, sir,
Okay.
and me, like, we are like doing those things and those. And we both thought like we are just staying in this and we are just coding and those things. I told my friend, let's start something like this and that. He knows programming, sir, those
Okay.
robotic programming.
Okay.
And I know those softwares and those things.
Yeah.
And I told, if we have this board, we can make a huge thing like as Google. And that's why I just asked sir about how to make an operating system.
Okay. Meherai, now I think y'all don't have to focus on making an operating system now, because now that particular area is pretty much, let's say, pretty much conquered or pretty much fine tuned. So example is the entire world basically runs on four different operating systems. We have, what do we have? We have Windows.
macOS,
Yeah.
Microsoft,
Na-
Linux.
macOS is Unix, that is known as Unix. Okay, so we have Unix, we have Microsoft Windows, and we have Linux. And what is the other OS? We do have another OS, but that is a variant of Linux, but we call it as another OS.
Oh yes.
මොකක්ද? What's the other one? තව දෙකක් තියෙනවා. Primarily three operating systems, Linux, Unix and Windows. But at the same time, side එකේ පැත්තෙන් we have iOS and Android. So iOS and Android. Yes.
I literally forgot Android.
iOS and Android both basically goes into the same category, but they both use Unix and Linux variants. But nowadays we basically call them as separate applications because they are now really powerful. So now, because all those,
But Android is like not much powerful, right, sir? Like it's not much.
yeah, Android is like this. Android is an operating system focused towards a specific set of actions. So you're not going to, let's
So
say,
it's slow.
no, it's not slow, but it's not optimized. That's the correct word.
Oh.
It's not optimized. Now, example is like if you take a Samsung phone, Samsung has their own Android variant, right? So who created Android?
Android.
Which company?
I don't know. I don't. Samsung made Android.
No, not Samsung.
Apple company.
No, Apple is the rival of Android. So when Steve Jobs released the iPhone in 2007, there was a huge speculation going on because now, okay, Apple is one of the most like controlling companies now. Then what happened was Google jumped in and Google released a new operating system called Android. So still to date, Google is the co-developer of Android. So, but the thing is, Android is free, open source. Now, let's say if both of us are building a phone, we can basically tell Google, hey, Google, we are building a phone, can you give us your operating system? And Google will say, yeah, okay, you can do whatever you want, take it. So that is under open source license. So we take the operating system and we can do whatever the customizations we want, depending on or matching to the hardware which we are going to use. That's why Android became a big hit, because iOS, Steve Jobs was like, Apple literally. We are only going to use it and no one else is going to get the access, because they wanted to have the monopoly, and there's a reason for that as well, because now, example is now, Apple builds their hardware, has their ecosystem, as well as they make the software. So hardware and software. Yes.
Sorry, sir.
No, go on. No, go on. Yeah.
Sorry, sir. Sir, those chips, that M2 chip and M4 chip.
Yes.
Sir, it's made by Samsung, right?
Chip manufacturing is done by multiple companies, Samsung, TSMC, and displays. For some iPhones, the display is made by Samsung. That's a different story.
Analyzed by Sony. Sony.
Yeah, that's a different story because it's a business agreement. That is business, nothing to do with their products. So let's say if both of us are like rivals in the business, but if you need something which I manufacture, you would be like, Vipula, අපි shape එකේ make කරමු. We don't need to expose. Just give us the stuff and I will give you the stuff. And we'll have our business on a separate area. That's something different, but
Also, Apple is giving us something to Samsung, right?
architect can be. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know up to that extent, but I know one thing for sure. Apple was using Samsung displays. That was something which was commonly known. So that the point I was explaining. So Android OS, we can take it and we can customize it. So now the reason you just said that Android is slow is actually because the original operating system is not technically optimized. You got the point?
So, sir, can we like do something like this, sir? This is sort of like copyright thing.
Yeah.
So can we take Android software?
Yeah.
Android software separately and optimize it with our own programs.
100%.
Can we release to the public? This is not Android. This is something else. But these are the features and these. And these are the optimized.
Correct. Yeah. That's true. Now that is what every company does. Like okay, so if you take OnePlus, there's this phone brand. So yeah, they have an Android version known as One UI. So what they have done is they took the existing Android version, they changed it according to whatever their requirements, and then released it. But the thing is, the Android core, the program core, the part I said that which will be connecting the hardware and the software, that part you can't change. That part there is no point of changing even because it works now. unless you build something new. Let's say you build you want to create a gaming phone, okay, and which has some specific hardware in it, which Android by default doesn't support, then you can change it. But for that you need to know a lot about hardware and how this hardware communication is being done. So if you are interested in, it's good.
Yes, if we can physically touch an hardware in an that means a desktop computer, right?
Yeah.
So, sir, can we like take out the hardware and just see what is in and just test it with our laptop, sir? Is it okay, sir?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So so technically you can install Android on your laptop if you want. Be careful. Be careful when you are going to do that, but you can install Android. Or the easiest.
Why should I be careful?
No. Technically, what we do is we use. So if you are trying out operating systems, use something like VMware or use something like this.
I told my friend like there's a sir like this, he's like this, and he's good. And I told I asked from her whether it's from him whether it's good or bad to do it like this.
Okay. So yeah, you can try out. What I say is break things as much as possible, because when you break something only you will learn what went wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'm not telling you to break your laptop, so let's be careful on that. So what you can do is you can download and install this thing which is known as a virtual box. Okay. So when you install a virtual box, what it does is it will let you run, it will let you do something called virtualization. Okay. So what virtualization does is it will technically allow you to create virtual hardware. Okay. So example,
So we can make hardwares?
yeah, you can create virtual machines on your laptop. So let's say once you install it, you can create a virtual machine with let's say 2 gigabytes of RAM and one CPU, likewise. Okay, and then you can start that virtual machine, try it out, download it like after the class if you want, try it out. So you can download it, and once you install it, you have the option of creating virtual machines. In that machine, once it's created, you can install whatever the operating system you want. So using this, you can literally install Linux. So iOS, it's a bit tricky installing it on a Windows machine, but yes, you have the option of doing that as well. But Linux and Android, you can easily install. You can even install Windows 95 if you want.
No, sir, no, sir. No.
Windows
That is
95.
so.
Windows 95
That
or
is,
any other thing.
I just thought I just asked that for sir, like for awareness, and sir knew it very well. That's all.
No problem, no problem. Okay, May,
Thank
let's,
you, sir.
sure thing. Let's quickly go through this thing. I know it's a bit theoretical approach, but yes, we still need to check this out. So, like as we always do, let's start from the illegal side, and I mean the pros and cons. So let's start from the cons, right? Okay, so downloading a movie and television programs without paying is obviously illegal, right? No doubts about that. Then search the internet for photos and posts. Sorry, you take pictures from the internet and then you post it as your own pictures. That is also illegal. Okay. Example is, now if I take a picture of you and if I create a fake, let's say a fake Facebook account or a fake Instagram account, that's a illegal process. And technically, you can technically sue me. You can put a lawsuit and say that I have what's the word for that? I have impersonated you, and then you can actually press charges. Then the third item is downloading music and edit and adding it to a video to create a new product. So here it doesn't actually mean, I mean, the word is a little bit incorrect. So download music and yeah, so this has to say download music with copyright, or download copyrighted music and add it to a video to create a new product. That's wrong. But if you download something like royalty free video or music, then it's perfectly fine. You can use it for any web any product. Then and the last one is buying a new video game on a copied disc from an online auction. Okay, so that is also it is illegal. So the reason these are listed, Kevin, we do get these questions on the paper where it will basically give you a certain set of these type of things, and where it will ask you whether it's illegal or legal. So it's quite straightforward thing. Obviously, like doing something like this is illegal. So let's see some this point. So here, watch movies and television programs where a well-known paid streaming service, something like Netflix. Yes, that is legal. Take your own photos and post them online. Yeah, obviously, it's your own photos. Yes, it's legal. And write, record, and stream your own music for others to share. That is also legal. And buying a new video game from a popular online shop. Yes, as long as you buy it from an online shop, it is legal. Hummo, going back like long time ago, like late 90s, we didn't had internet, no. So when we wanted to play a game, the only place was, we had couple of game shops in Colombo. You know Liberty Plaza, right? Called
Oh, yes, sir. Our father took our iPhone in that Liberty
Ah,
Plaza.
okay, perfect. So this Liberty Plaza, at the ground floor, there's this shop called Nastas. So back then, sorry, not the shop Nastas. There was a shop right next to Nastas who sold games. So I remember going there back in 1998 or 1999 with my father, and he asked me to pick something. Then I went through all the games, and the like those days we didn't had pirated games because internet wasn't there. So all the games were original. It came in big boxes.
Also, it was expensive, right?
It was quite expensive. So I I initially I bought this game called Half-Life.
Half-Life. So, how much was it in those days?
I can't remember when. I can't remember. It actually came in a box like this.
So, how could you like play that game?
It actually came in a big box like this.
Oh.
Yeah,
So,
so
how could you say play that game, sir?
I had a so back in 1996 my father bought a Intel Pentium machine with a so that was my first computer.
Wow.
I was in
This is my second computer.
okay, I was in grade 5 back then. So that
Sir,
was
to be honest, I got my computer, the second computer in grade 3.
3. Okay, you guys are lucky because anyway now the technology is quite advanced. I mean back then in 1998 computer එකක් කියන්නේ it's like a luxury item. You know what? Back in 1996 that computer for the price my father paid for that computer, now you can actually buy a small car. Back then he paid almost close to one lakh in the sense now it will be about 30 to 40 lakhs, at least about 30 lakhs.
Plenty of 3 months, sir?
No. I mean, from by the time he bought it, that was like long time ago.
No, sir. That is, sir's father was like
30 years ago. That was technically 30 years ago.
Sir, but I'm unlucky. I'm not allowed to play games.
Okay. You make your own games then.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you can make your own game. Okay, perfect. So now so what we went through was to basically understand whether this is legal or illegal. Then we have a point, plagiarism. So these are all a certain set of points which we'll be discussing in the documentation. So we are not going to go very in depth into this. We just trying to understand the keyword and to make sure that you know what the term means, right? Okay, so plagiarism. So please do highlight this part. So plagiarism means using someone else's content without asking for the creator's permission. So for the people who are watching the video, if you don't have the textbook, please do write this down. So plagiarism is
So should I write?
No. If you have highlighted, then it's perfectly normal, perfectly fine. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now plagiarism is actually a very bad thing to do when it comes to universities. Okay, so now when while I was teaching at the universities, most of the universities had this thing called a portal where you have to upload your coursework. Okay, so what they do is they have a full database of all the courseworks which has been uploaded from throughout the entire world. Okay, this is known as a platform which is known as Turn It In. Okay, so how Turn It In works is it
Sir, I have to tell you something, sir. I just did a bad thing in that thing, sir.
why, what happened?
Sir, I did. Sir, if you can only cut this part from the YouTube.
Then tell me at the end of the class. Then I can remove it. Okay. Remember to tell me though. I want to hear about it. Okay. So yeah. So what they do is so now these systems they analyze all the courseworks which has been submitted, and let's say if I copy one of your coursework, like I take your version. So this is what happens. So now let's say if you are in one of my senior batches, then what will happen is I will just give you a call and say, "Ayya, මට පොඩ්ඩක් මේ coursework එක දෙන්නකෝ" කියලා. I get your coursework and I copy it. So but then again technically it's wrong, right? Because you have to write your own thing, no? So these systems, they will analyze and they will clearly show. Now as lecturers, when we go through it, අපිට පේනවා හොඳට කළු පාටට highlight කරලා රතු පාටට පේනවා this section has been taken from this XYZ person's subdivision. So like done deal. So if so normally I don't penalize for plagiarism if it is less than about 20%. If it is more than 20%, then I'm just going to fail them. Okay. So that's the whole idea behind plagiarism. So plagiarism can go into a couple of different ways. So downloading a school essay, so this is something which I just said, and presenting it as your own. So yes, that is plagiarism. Copying text and images from a website and using them to create your own website, that is plagiarism, yes, but if you change it, then it's okay. Like photo එකක් කරගෙන you change it a little bit, then it's okay, but if you take it directly, then it's plagiarism. And copying newspaper or magazine article you found online without crediting the writer, yes, that is plagiarism. So technically you should not, or you cannot take a newspaper article, especially a newspaper article, okay, and then asking or paying someone else to write your assignments for you. And the that also goes as plagiarism. And also keep in mind, if you write an assignment or if you do homework for someone else, that also goes in par as plagiarism. So since you aided someone to cheat, or you aided someone to submit plagiarized content, okay, that is also known as plagiarism. Okay, so keep those points in mind. So that's the main, those are the simple points. Then we have some piracy. So pirates, don't say any website names, but I know there's a very popular pirate website where which gets blocked almost every day from on online stuff, right? There are like pirate details got on online or not, right? So what is piracy? Piracy is anything which is illegally copied or distributed online. So yes, you can highlight this, so please do highlight it. People who don't have the workbook, again I'm saying you can write this down. So piracy, it's illegally copying and distributing original media such as movies, games and software is called as piracy. Okay, so piracy.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, shoot.
Sir, when in old days, I used to play a game called Blockstar User. In that, sir, it's same as Minecraft, sir. So isn't it piracy?
Tell me again. So you played a game, like is it a paid game or is it a free game?
It's a free game, sir.
If it is a free game, no. But let's say if you downloaded a game through some sort of let's say a torrent site or some sort of illegal site, then that goes as piracy. In the sense, it's like this. Now, here it goes in the other way around. Piracy means you distribute it. Let's say, let's say you see illegally copying and distributing original media. See the point? Illegally copying and distributing original media. So let's say you buy a game and then you share it with your friend. That is piracy.
that's also privacy.
Yeah. So let's say if you buy it, if you are the sole owner of the game, and then let's say you come to my place and මට කියනවා sir මෙන්න මේ game එකක් දෙනවා ගන්න. Then I will be taking it. But then again, what you did was illegal, that which falls under the category as piracy.
That thing is privacy. So I was like thinking, well, if my friend plays something like that, was it privacy? It's not like that.
No, not like that piracy. No. Wait, other way around. Okay, perfect. So that's the whole point. So selling illegal copies of recent movies on a market stall, or downloading, posting illegal music, or selling illegal copies of Office or graphic software at a much lower cost, or selling it for free, will obviously fall under the category of piracy. Okay, so piracy is straightforward. If you write or highlight this part, that would be more than enough. But remember the examples. So these three are the examples, but just remember the simplest point. If you have purchased, or if you have obtained something, some sort of a media, and if you copy and distribute it, then that falls under the category as piracy. Okay, nice. So I hope that part is clear. Now we jump into a total different point about about responsible practices. P2P, peer-to-peer. Okay, what is peer-to-peer? Have you heard about this term?
Yes, a peer-to-peer network is like a straightforward network that you communicate with another person straight away.
Hari, yes, but එහෙම නෙමෙයි. Hari, I know. But what is peer-to-peer? What do you think from your point of view?
I think peer-to-peer networks are sort of like private. It's sort of private works. Sometimes, like if you talk to another person, you talk only to that person as well. So
correct.
It's sort of like that, but it should not be public.
Yes, correct. So perfect. Yeah, the answer is correct, but you got one point wrong. So yes, it is private, but you can have multiple items. Okay, so example is peer, and you're a peer, and we connect through a cable. Just think it in a very simple way. Okay, during the last class you asked me whether you can connect your old PC with your laptop, right? If you do that, then that is known as a peer-to-peer connection. So you take one peer, you take another peer, and you connect them together, right? So what happens is, now when all these devices are connected together, they don't need a central storage. There is no such thing as a central storage, because we will be sharing our content with each other, right? So everyone would be sharing. Now here the thing is, everyone on the network can easily share whatever the private and whatever the documents with anyone in the network. So how this works is, these are actually built to start collaboration. So example is, let's say okay, so now this is actually not let's say not entirely practiced, because in the early stages of the internet, back in 2003, 2004, we didn't had servers තිබුණා නැත්තේ නෑ, but the storage was really expensive. So what people did was, there were a ton of peer-to-peer networking softwares. We had softwares such as BearShare, LimeWire, and so on and so forth. Don't search for those softwares right now because it's illegal. I just told you some names. If you want to search, you can search it on Google Images, and you can see how those softwares were. But now they don't work anymore because now now that peer-to-peer thing is actually no more. So now we had
So
that.
that's illegal means, sir?
ඉතින් මෙහෙමනේ illegal කියන්නේ. So those days we didn't had YouTube or any other means of listening to music and those things, right? YouTube කියලා හදලා තිබුණේ නැහැ එතකොට. හරිද? So what we did was we used those softwares to find songs. So MP3s, we didn't had a way of downloading MP3 files. So if you want to search for a new song, what we did was we went through those peer-to-peer softwares. We used those peer-to-peer softwares to search for the song. And now since US people and all, they do share. No? So all those songs were available in the network. So we go there, we search for a song and we download it.
That's easy.
Yeah, it's easy, but it's illegal in multiple ways. Huh? But so what happened is now in that software you get the option to share a folder, and whatever you put inside the folder is shared to the internet. And the software, what the software does is the software lets you search inside other peers' shared folders. Let's say, okay, so let's say I'm
So in Scribble they do that, right? In Scribble you have to put like 5, that means you have to put like 5 documents sort of, that is books or something. You have to put it and you could get those books free.
same thing, similar, not the exact but similar. The concept is similar. So let's say if you had a file called chemit.mp3 on your machine, and if I search in that software as chemit, then it will immediately show that okay, that file exists in his PC. Then when I click download, what it does is the software from my PC, the software on my PC will send a message to the software on your PC and say, hey, send me that file. And that file is being sent from your PC to my PC. Other fun part is now let's say if another person search for chemit.mp3, now then 2 people have that file, right? I also have it now. So then the software understands, okay, 2 people has the file, and it asks the file from both of us, you and me, both. Then when it's downloaded to his PC, now we have 3. Likewise, when like couple of thousand people download the file, that gets all distributed. So then immediately,
There was 1,000 people. The message goes to 1,000 people.
yeah, and what happens? So just think now, if I'm downloading that file directly from your computer, that's going to take a long time now because your computer has to upload it. But let's say if once that file is being downloaded by, let's say, 10,000 people, then that means the software can download from 10,000 points. So just like this, it downloads. So that's the whole... No problem. That's the whole idea behind peer-to-peer networks. I'm not supposed to go into this depth, but I just explained you since it's interesting.
Yeah, I'll never try that.
No, now you don't have those type of softwares, man. That's like this peer-to-peer thing is no more, but there is a different method of peer-to-peer sharing, but that's something for a later day. Okay. So that's about peer-to-peer. So the idea is a peer-to-peer or a P2P network is a group of devices that are all connected without the need for a central storage. Okay. Please do highlight this or write it down. And also, please do highlight this part as well. P2P networks were designed to assist in collaborative online working. So it was actually designed to assist in collaborative online working, but people use it to different purposes. Okay.
Also, if we like type in peer-to-peer network, Kemit's photo, will it? Huh?
Those days when those softwares were active, yes, it would have given you the result. Now, okay, Tibba, there was a very dark side to that, huh? Because now, like without knowingly, people have installed that software, and there were instances where people have shared their personal photos and images, and no clue this thing was basically sharing it all, because it's like technically keeping your front gate of your house open. So anybody can take a look and take whatever they want out. So that actually made a massive that was a massive security threat. So you have to be mindful about what you're sharing also, plus what you're downloading, because since this was actually a big massive network, those days we used to download movies and songs, and why not books, and there were like past papers also. Illegal past papers and all sorts of things. Oh, sorry. Give me 1 second.
It's okay.
Yeah, okay. So all sorts of things were available at that point. So okay, so yeah, that's about peer to peer. Then so we just need to make sure that yeah. So then internet service providers, ISPs. So ISPs, we actually talked about ISPs like couple of classes back, where we talked about the internet connection. So an ISP is the person or the company who provides the internet connection to your home, school, or place of work. So it's quite straightforward. So the keywords you use in your search, or whatever the address you type, is all recorded by the ISP. Okay? So the ISP can use this information to give details about common searches for illegal content. Okay, now let's write this down. So just highlight it, or if you're writing it, write it down. So an internet service provider. So what is an internet service provider? An internet service provider provides the internet connection to your home, school, or place of work. Okay, so that's the definition of the internet service provider. And internet connection to your home, school, or place of work. Okay, now there is a fun fact behind this internet service providers. So I'll go a bit technical just to show. So if you want, you can search for these keywords and see. So what happens is, when you enter a domain, let's say www.google.com, okay, so that's known as a domain. When you go to www.google.com, what happens is your request is being sent to the ISP, internet service provider. Okay, give me 1 second. So it works.
Also, we can like see our history and what we did, and like this if we request from ISP, right?
Yes, that's the scary part. Okay, let me show you a diagram that would okay, this is at least a bit okay. Hold on, let me find another one.
So they could only give the things that we searched in YouTube and Google and those things, right?
Technically, no. They can actually give you whatever the specific keywords you have typed in. Anything.
That means the guys who do things can do that.
Yes, they can track. Okay,
But they doesn't know the things that they need.
Not technically, they know what they need, but the thing is, they don't technically care about it unless something nasty happens.
Oh, that how is that's how, sir? the people, the government search the hackers and those things, right?
That's how exactly. That's how it works. Okay, so it's let's take a brief look at this one. So now we have so let's say if you are one of these customers, we have ADSL and we have different types of connectors, right? So then what you go is you go into the operator or the, so in this case this is called PSTN. We'll talk about that later on. But what happens is this goes to this particular tier. Hiyo, Omin. Hold on. Let me show you a nice clear view of this. Then you would understand it. PPE. Okay, perfect. Metin. Nice. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is perfect. Okay, so so this is your PC. Okay. Now what happens is you search for something. Right? Let's say you go for www.google.com. What happens is your machine, your machine sends this www.google.com to something called a DNS cache. Okay. DNS means domain name service. Okay. So the DNS is what will store the name which will map into an IP address. Can you remember we saw the IP address few minutes ago? Like your local IP address, right?
Yeah.
So likewise, all the servers around the world, they have an IP address. Okay. So how it works is this IP address, you don't know the IP address now. Let's say I have my personal website, and when you ask Vipula Sir, what's your website? If I say 112.341 something like that will be very confusing for you if I tell you an IP address. But if I tell you vipulaanandapia.com, you can just search and you can go to Vipula Anandapia, right? That's what the domain does. So this guy keeps the DNS cache, and then that is being sent to a server, and then once it's solved, it will be sent to whatever the third party server. Now this whole thing happens inside your ISP. So whatever you request, whatever the domain name, whatever the search key, anything you request through internet is going, it's technically getting recorded. Everything is getting recorded. So all your search history, whatever you have done so far, everything is completely recorded. So yes, it's a bit tricky thing, but the thing is, even if it is getting recorded, nobody cares about it unless you do something wrong. Okay. So that's why now I have one of my friends in Canada. He's in States and Canada. He said, Vipula, we are really scared to even search for something illegal online. Example is, I asked him whether he watched a movie or some sort of a movie. Then he said he hasn't watched it, but I watched it because that was online already. So I watched this movies on this free site, 1, 2, 3 movies or something like that. So that's a free site. So then I asked him, why can't you use this? And he was literally scared. He said, පිස්සුද අපිට ඕකට යන්න බෑ මට හිරේ යන්න බෑ කිව්වා. So literally, even if they go to that domain, they get blacklisted. And ultimately, if you get tracked a couple of times, they can press charges. So that's why they pay and buy all the services. නිකන් හිරේ යන්න ඕනේ නෑ නේ ඩොලර් දෙකක් දීලා ෆිල්ම් එක බලනවා. That's easy, no?
So is the same thing happening in Australia?
Australia also the same thing, correct? Yes, that happens. Yes. So, but there are workarounds for this. There are. I'm not going to tell you now what are the workarounds? But there are ways where you can bypass it. But ideally, if you don't know how to do it, you shouldn't do it because there's a chance of you getting tracked. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So,
So sometimes our mother told sir, if you like do something, if some hackers can literally like switch on your camera and look what who are you, what you are doing without like switching on your light in the camera. That light
yes,
indicates that your camera is switched on.
that is what your mom said was actually 100% true. But now in the newer laptops, in the new versions of laptops, like the latest laptops, they do have that light hard coded or hard fixed to the power supply. So let's say if you have a motor, and if that motor is getting power from a wire, then the light is actually set into the power line. So when the camera gets switched on, the light automatically gets switched on. You,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah,
So see,
so
if you for I3 sir, does it happen?
I have no clue, no clue. I have no clue. But I know the latest Apple machines they do have it, as well as all the latest computers like latest laptops they do have that hard coded feature so that the camera won't turn on without turning on the light. That's it.
Oh.
But back in the day, that light was actually controlled through software. So if you know how to hack it, you can turn off the light, and you can literally keep an eye on the person who is using it. So for the moment, that's how it works. But now still, Android phones there are exploits where you can actually turn on the camera without even you knowingly.
Yeah, it doesn't show light, sir. It
Yeah,
doesn't show light.
it doesn't show a light. No, it doesn't show a
The
light. So
Apple's phones are impossible to hack, right?
it is impossible to hack because of couple of reasons. Because the operating system is locked. As I said, open source and closed source.
It's true.
When it's open source, anyone can do anything. When it's closed source, you can't poke
Can't
fingers.
we like close our system for our own and customize our system to like be impossible to hack?
Yes, so search for this keyword and see it later on, which is known as Samsung has a security system called Samsung Knox, Knox, I believe, Knox. So Knox, Samsung Knox. So what it does is Samsung has actually written an additional security layer into the operating system itself, so that it uses the default security of Android, obviously, but on top of it, it uses its own security system. So technically, nobody can hack it. Even if somebody hacks it, still there are points where you won't be able to do any damage.
So
Okay.
you know, sir, me and my friends' target is to like take something new that's not ever done by somebody. That's our target.
Perfectly fine. I highly, let's say, encourage you to follow that, because always
So I
remember.
never like do something that others did, but I
Yeah.
like to do that others didn't do. So.
Yes. Okay. So I know this is not, still you are very young, but I'll give you a small point when it comes to money. Okay. When it comes to money,
Money.
the primary method of earning money is giving a solution. Okay, so you find a problem and you give a solution. So that's the exact method of earning money. Where the money is, sorry, when you solve a problem, that is where the money is. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, so I'll tell you a good example. Now, there are two ways to do this. Either you can solve problems or you can create problems. Okay, so what?
No, sir, not problem.
Yeah,
No,
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 no.
no.
Okay, so let me tell you a good example. Have you, you know, iPhone 6, right? You have heard about the iPhone 6? Okay?
Oh yeah, sir, that cushioning thing that AR6,
No,
right?
no. The iPhone version 6, where they removed the headphone jack.
Yeah, I
Okay.
saw that.
So what happened was until iPhone 5, we had a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Okay. So, but during that time, Bluetooth technology, wireless Bluetooth was actually getting improved. And what Apple did was they ditched the headphone jack. They completely removed the headphone jack. Now we have a problem, right? Because now let's say if you had a wired headphone, now there's no way for you to plug it in, right? Now
Yeah.
in order for that problem, now this is a problem they created. They came up with a solution which is known as the AirPods. They said no, now buy the AirPods. That's the wireless headphone which is known as AirPods. So back then, when that AirPods were released, most people weren't used for Bluetooth headsets. But now, up to date, Apple AirPods is the one single product which has most sales in the world. So just think what they did. So they took out something perfectly working, they broke it and created a new problem, and for the new problem they created a solution, and they earned billions out of it. Okay?
So thank you for telling those things that nobody gave it for my brain.
Sorry?
Nobody told me those points and they were like, oh yes, nah, you just continue it like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Don't just continue. Think about problems, because when you solve problems, then you get the money. And also one last point: when you're solving a problem, solve it properly. Okay. So example is, now if I can tell about my classes, so I come from a long background of working in the industry. So I saw a problem because in Sri Lanka we have a very let's say we don't have qualified Edexcel ICT and computer science teachers. So I saw that problem. So that was a problem, and I came in as a solution, and it works.
So I thought I did very well.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you have to find that problem. Huh? So that problem has to align with your skills also. Now let's say then කියමු මට හොඳට සින්දු කියන්න පුළුවන් කියලා මම සින්දු කියන්න පුළුවන් වෙලා Edexcel උගන්නන්න වෙලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. It doesn't work out like that. Right? So that has to match your skills as well, but then if it matches, it's perfect harmony.
So my thing is like the both skills get together into one point and that point's comparison is given to our tongue.
Exactly.
That's my way of learning.
Yes. So gain as much as skills as possible, and then you can jump into the next point. Okay.
He knows the robotics and programming.
Yeah.
And I know those other stuff, those softwares and those
Yes.
things.
So try to balance it out, and after that you can actually come up with your. So I of course came into this by I came into the industry as a software engineer, and I worked about 10 years as a software engineer. Then I started a couple of companies. I did my own startups and worked as a CTO for a company. I do still have some companies under my name. So with all these things, then I learned marketing, then I learned sales, then I learned how to teach by doing my master's in education.
I just searched Sir's name and there was like hundreds of photos of Sir.
Yeah, obviously, yes, you will find some details because I've been online for a long time. Okay, super. So we have one more point to talk about. So what is cloud-based computing? Okay, so have you seen a data center? Do you know what is a data? Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Before we go into cloud computing.
No, sir. So is JavaScript hard or something?
JavaScript is actually quite straightforward and easy. Why?
No, sir. I asked for my mother and she told, I'll tell you later. Sort of.
Yes,
And she told,
if you
it's
want,
sort of
yeah,
hard for your age.
I can teach you easily. That's not a big thing. That is something you have to study, but yes. Try to see if you can hear the sound of this. So,
Okay, sir.
you can hear it, right? Right?
So I can hear it.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Okay. So, this is a video about Google's data security. Okay, cloud security. Okay, so we are learning a point. So in this particular point, what we are learning about is the what is cloud computing and what are the disadvantages and advantages of cloud computing. Okay, it's just a very small brief about what is cloud computing, but in that video it shows you the security, how Google makes their data centers, which is basically the cloud computers in this case, secure. Okay, so check this out.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Wong and I work for Google Cloud. While I could talk all day about cloud security, physical security at a Google data center is still pretty new to me. So today I'm on a mission to learn all about it by taking an inside look at the systems in place that protect customer data at a typical Google data center. Let's go. Now, I've been told there are 6 layers of security here. Security layer 1 refers to the property boundaries, and that includes signage and fencing. But things really start to get interesting when it comes to layer 2, also known as the secure perimeter. And that includes the main entrance gate, which I am pulling up to right now. Hey, how's it going?
Good morning.
So layer 2 has a lot of security features, ranging from smart fencing to overlapping cameras to 24/7 guard patrols and more. I'm on my way to meet some experts who are going to show me how it all works. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
So I just passed the main gate and I saw guards and cameras, but what are some things that I didn't see?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of technology and operations going on behind the scene. So from the time that you're on site, we know that you're here and we're able to do correlation analysis of where you've been. We have guards in vehicles. We have some guards on foot. There's also the vehicle crash barrier. That's designed to stop a fully loaded truck from crashing through the front entrance.
Ricky, Tree, can you tell me more about what's unique about the fencing?
This particular fence is an anti-climb fence. It's also equipped with fiber. The technology tells us.
So just to stop there, this is all to protect some PCs. Huh? So there are servers inside these huge buildings, and all of these external is to protect those PCs.
If someone's near the fence or touch.
This contains our things, right?
Yes, your Gmail, your photos and everything. So this is just one data center. So there's like 10, 12, 15 data centers around the world. So there's about 30, 40, 50 there's data centers around the world, but this is just one. Okay, so see how they protect it.
Touches a fence.
Okay.
So we use thermal cameras and standard cameras, so we're able to see video footage at night just as clearly as we can during the day.
Welcome to layer 3, building access. But just so you know, I am still nowhere near the data center floor. That's a few more layers deep. Let's head inside.
Stephanie, so you've gone through the gate, you've come into our secure lobby. You have your card, and we know that that's you, but if someone happened to lose their card, what we want to make sure is that it's actually Stephanie who's shown up.
Blink into your eye.
And with iris scan, we can authenticate that it's actually you along with your ID.
Okay, I think it's good. One thing that's a little hard to get used to when you visit a data center is for secure areas, only one person is allowed to batch through a door at a time. Layer 4 includes the Security Operations Center, or SOC, a hive of activity that is monitoring the data center 24/7.
So there, what she showed was there's this concept called tailgating. tailgating means ඔයා යනකොට ඔයාගේ පස්සෙන් එනවා. So you can't do that here. So you can't walk behind someone. You have to go one at a time into the building. ඔයා ගිහිල්ලා දොර ඇරලා the other person has to wait until the door closes and then only you can punch out. Okay, that's to prevent.
That rule.
Yeah, I think mehimane. Now when it comes to that particular data center, whatever you do inside the data center must be tracked. So they must be able to find each and every specific activity you do inside the data center. So now so I open the door, and when I go into the building, if you follow me, if you come behind me without scanning, that means they don't know where you are. So technically, even if you go to the washroom, still you have to wait. You have to go one at a time. One person at a time. Okay, so check this out.
And 365 days a year. So it sounds like we've been keeping them very busy today.
Yes, you have. So the doors, the cameras, the badge readers, the iris scan, everything is connected here. This is the brains of the security system. So if there's anything out of the ordinary happening, they have to be able to pick that up.
Interesting fact about layer 5, the data center floor. Less than 1% of Googlers ever get to set foot in here. So right now, I'm feeling kind of special.
This is truly a as needed only access area, meaning that only the technicians and engineers that have to be there to maintain, upgrade, or repair the equipment are ever allowed there.
And do Googlers or anyone have access to the data?
We have access to the devices, but the data at rest is encrypted, and our customers can issue and keep their own encryption keys. And we do this because protecting the privacy and the security of our users' data is our highest priority.
The mysterious layer 6, where disks are erased and destroyed, and the fewest number of people are allowed to enter. Drives that need to be retired from the data center floor come into this room through a secure two-way locker system, which means that only technicians assigned to this room can pull them from that locker to either erase or destroy them.
All right, welcome to the crusher room.
Wow.
So at this point, we have scanned the hard drive, and the software has told us that we need to destroy it.
Can we see it in action?
Back up.
All right, I'll stay back here. That disk is definitely destroyed.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so what you. Yes, so even if something happens, like if the data is damaged, or let's say if the device is damaged, you can't just throw it away. You have to destroy it. You have to literally shred it into pieces so that no one else can retrieve the data. Okay, so that is how secure cloud computing is. So technically nobody can jump the fence and get in and plug a USB pen drive and install something. Okay, so that's how. Yeah. Yes.
That these days that she did an eye scan, sir. So there was a technology of that. If you put a lens in your eye,
Yeah.
you could like detect, and if you see something about something, it could connect it like Bluetooth and take the data.
Yes, I think I saw the video which you are talking about. There was this kind of like a hologram thing, right? So not a hologram, a heads-up display.
Yes, when you put the lens on here,
Yes.
if you looked in an unknown person, it targets and then this is the database, this is the edge, this is the everything.
100%. 100%. Yes.
And it's still connected.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So this cloud computing. So when we say it's the cloud, it's basically just a set of servers. So it is connected to the internet. That's the point I showed you that day. That big network map. So everything is connected together, and you get to access. So what is cloud computing? It's basically remote uh, remote storage. Okay, now here, okay, so for your syllabus this is correct. Okay, but cloud computing is not remote storage. Okay, now at this age and for this syllabus you are learning this as cloud computing is the remote storage of files, documents and applications. Okay, so please do write this down, or you can highlight it. Don't write these huge server things in your exam, because they don't expect you to write about like how these networks work and how DNS servers, domain resolving and those things. I am.
But if I do like that, they would be like, wow, this guy's like this.
May be careful. Most of my students has this problem. So I teach you guys a massive lot of, I give you guys lot of information. I teach you all the factors which makes up one single point. But the problem is, the person who is marking the paper in most of the schools, they are not educated up to that level. Sometimes, okay, I'm not saying all, but sometimes they do have this type of problem. So they expect the classic typical answer. So yes, it's good for your knowledge. So I'm basically teaching you this because you will be using this information in your grade 8 and IGCSE and so on and so forth. But for now, stick to the standard. Okay, it's good to know them. Okay. Super. So yeah, cloud computing is the remote storage of files, documents and applications. That's the thing. Okay, so we'll jump through the advantages and disadvantages. So let's go through advantages first. So the primary advantage is because the content is shared, right? So since it's online, you can share it, and the keyword is collaborate. Okay, so collaborate is the keyword where you can collaborate with your peers or with your other people who is connected to the document, and you can work with them. Okay, and then users can access applications and files from any location. Yes, obviously, because it's in the cloud now, it's online. Last item, requires less powerful devices as they are often working on the web browser. So let me ask you a question. Have you heard about the Chromebook? Google Chromebook.
So Google Chrome is a web browser and Chrome is sort of like a storing data.
There. Do a search and see what is a Chromebook. A Chromebook is a laptop. So a Chromebook, so the Chromebook is basically a simple laptop which runs a Linux operating system. Give me 1 second. Sharing. Give me 1 second. The other class. So so that is basically a book which is running on Linux operating system. So the fun part is you can't use this Chromebook without the internet. Okay, what happens is the Chromebook is so light. I mean, the operating system is so light. It doesn't have all these features in it. You need to connect to the internet, and once you're connected to the internet, then it will download and figure out all the stuff. Okay, so that's the power. Sorry?
That's impressive, sir.
Yeah, and you don't need high-end machines. You can run Word, Excel, PowerPoint, everything which is online on Google. It's really fun and straightforward.
How do you buy that thing?
Chromebooks are available. Just search. You have Chromebooks online. Laptop LK and some companies, they sell it. It's a bit expensive though. I think for us, it will be cheaper to buy a normal laptop than buying a Chromebook. Okay, then the disadvantages. So users might accidentally delete someone else's work. Yes, because let's say if my folder is shared with you, then there is a chance for you to delete my work, right? You can, But in the real life, there are like trash methods and things to prevent this. But yes, you have an option of deleting it. And this is the problem actually. So if the internet connection is unreliable, there may be time to time like you will have difficulties accessing your files. That is unreliable ne? Internet nattang mukut na done. You can't access anything. So if the system, so there is no such thing as offline access. So that's why now, do you use Google Drive?
Google Drive, yes, sir. I have a Google Drive.
Do you have a Google Drive? Perfect. Have you installed it on your laptop?
No, sir. I have to like search in Google.
You go through Google Chrome, no?
Google Drive and.
Yes. Okay. So you can actually install Google Drive on your laptop itself. You can install it, and you can actually connect your Google Drive into the laptop's hard disk. So then what happens is, whatever which is already there will get downloaded into your hard disk. So then you get offline access. That's the fun part.
Good.
Yes, exactly. That's the fun part with cloud computing. So you don't have to technically rely. Yes. Sure.
Can I use an external hard disk for my laptop?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can use an external hard disk easily. And then
Yes, sir. I mean, part of an hard disk from that Pentium 3.
Okay. That's a different story. Maybe we have a problem. We ran out of time. It's 8 o'clock and the other guys are waiting to start the class. So so hopefully the class was interesting, and we